Right, welcome back. Happy to see you again. It's been pretty much about just over 6 months since the Phantom. Just to let you know, I've now got a job. I was 6 months unemployed, but I've managed to find a job. I've been in that job now for a month, and it's a really good job, and it should last because it's a proper full-time job. So I've treated myself for the first time in over a year, because the last kit I bought was the Phantom, and it was this time last year that I bought it, and I built it in December. It's next project time. So here's the next project. Well, going over to my chest freezer, you can see that is the first issue of the DS9 Runabout. Now, for some of you may know, AMT round 2 have reissued these kits, but over here they're about 50 quid onwards just for one. I managed to pick this up for £28 with the postage included, and I'm really chuffed that I managed to pick it up that cheap. So just giving it a bit of a box art. You can see that it's nice box art, pretty much standard, around the side, round the back, and it just tells you how big it is and that. It's about 12 inches long, but I think it's slightly longer. Nothing on the back, so I'll just get rid of that. Even though this kit is 93, I think it is, the parts are still bagged. I'm not going to take the parts out the bag just yet, but the guy I bought it off has took the top half of the Runabout and the bottom half of the Runabout out the bags for some strange reason. Going to the instruction guide. Doesn't look too bad. Looks fairly straightforward, as you can see. Like I said, even though this was made in the 90s, as you can see, it's all fairly straightforward. And then you've got a paint guide on the back, and it even tells you that the base colour, which on Star Trek kits I've never known them to do that. And you can see it's Federal Standard 36622, so I'm going to have to get the UK version of that. You can build it with the pylon at the top there, the sensor pylon, which I'm going to do. Apparently, looking on Star Trek Memory Wiki, it's the USS Ganges that has the pylon. Now, my only qualm about this is the decal sheet. As you can see, it's fairly aged, it's got some brown stains on it. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to lay these on the model, see how they get on. If not, I'll just have to try and reprint them, get them off somewhere and reprint them. But apart from that, this kit, as you can see, is in really good nick. Well, there it is. First kit that I bought in over a year. Let's get cracking. Stay with me. Right, welcome back. I haven't actually started work on the Runabout yet. What I neglected to mention in the intro is I plan on getting an interior kit for the Runabout, and I plan on lighting it. The reason I haven't started working on it is because I had to wait for the interior kit to arrive, which it has done. So I'll just show you the little kit I've got. Right, the interior kit comes with a front command area, which sits in perfect to the front section, because you can see those two mounting pins there. Pulling this off, you can see those two notches, one there and one there, so it fits perfect into there. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but you can see the, I don't know if you can see the floor detail, and you can see little gridding squares. You get the side consoles, and you get the front navigation console. You also get the hatch door there and some more consoles. Now, when I looked at this on eBay, I honestly thought this is going to be like really thin sheet styrene, but it isn't. It's really thick. It's quite sturdy. It's like, I don't know if it's some kind of hard resin, moulded or 3D printed, because you can see the guys cut it off something. Maybe it was a mould or 3D printed. But for £20, just under £20 from Canada, took 3 weeks to arrive. I'm well chuffed with it. So I'll sit that back in there. As you can see, it sits perfect like that. Then you get the rear conference area, as seen on that Star Trek Next Generation episode. But as you can see, it doesn't sit quite flush in there, because underneath you can see I'm going to have to do a bit of shaving at an angle to get that to fit in. But again, it's a very, very sturdy plastic. You see it's been moulded. I don't know if that picks it up. Once this has been primed, you'll be able to see the detail a hell of a lot better. Now in the rear conference area you get a couple of consoles each side of the cabin door, and you get a conference table, and this is smooth. It ain't gridded like the front command area. Also, you get these little dinky figures moulded into their seats. As you can see, the headrest there, and you get 8 of those in this little bag. So you get, just put that back there, you get 4 for the conference area and 4 for the command area. Now I did my research on the internet for an interior kit, and I found one from Federation Models. You get the front and rear sections, but it's a hell of a lot better for those of you perfectionists out there. And you also get a living area set, and you get the L-Cars decals. Turning the camera around, the only trouble being the Federation model set is $75, and then you factor in the shipping and handling to me in the UK, that's probably another $30, and then you probably have, once it gets over here, you'll probably have Parcel Farce's customs release fee, which is another 25 quid. So all in all, I wouldn't have had much change out of probably about 120 quid. So this little cheapy custom set off eBay for £20, or just under, it saved me 100 quid. But to be honest, it doesn't really need to be perfectionist for me, you know, because this will only be the second kit that I've lighted. Because if you look over my shoulder, you remember the lifeboat? I lighted that one. This will only be the second kit that I've lighted. Well, with my rambling finished, it's time to get cracking on. Stay with me. Right, welcome back. I've done a bit of work on the interior of the Runabout. If you remember from the previous update, you had the 2 side consoles and the main nav, and there was a gap between each console. Looking on the internet, watching a bit of video, looking at a few pictures, this is supposed to be an all-around one console. So I filled the gaps in. Using a bit of packing sponge off my son's monitor box, because he was going to throw that away, so I kept some. I cut a little square out, wedged it in the gap there, a bit of PVA glue, both sides, and let the sponge dry. While I was letting the sponge dry, I got a bit of my sheet plastic and cut it like a triangular rectangle, a little bit short. Once the sponge had dry with the glue, I then glued those in, both sides. And then once those the glue had dried, I then filled in the sides, as you can see. Put a bit of filler in front of the sponge as well there and there, sanded that down, and I put some on the outside and sanded that down. So that is now an all-around one console. Going to the rear, if you remember, I had to sand down the edges because it wouldn't fit right in. It wouldn't fit in. It just kept sitting on the top and I couldn't push it down. So as you can see, I haven't glued it in yet. I've now trimmed away some of that excess plastic, and as you can see, it fits in perfect now. No problems at all. The only problem is when I was fitting it in, if I push down that side, it would kick out massively on this side because it doesn't sit in like that. It doesn't sit in perfect. So what I've had to do is I've got a bit more of that sponge, cut it out. I think it's about 3 to 5 mil, I can't remember. So I just glued that with a PVA glue, let it sit on my window ledge with the window open, and it dried a treat because on Sunday it was a really hot day. And you can see it's dried absolutely fantastic. So when I put that back on now, it sits perfect. Obviously I've got to do some gap work there once it's glued in. But I'm sure once I fill that in and sanded it down, you won't be able to tell the difference. But I'm getting there slowly. Not much progress, but definitely something. Stay with me. Right, as you can see, I've now primed the lower half and interior of the Runabout. And you can also see, I'll just turn that around a bit, you can also see the interior detail a bit better. Not looking too bad at all. You can also see the gridding a bit better as well. These are just bits of electrical tape that I've put down because when I glue the seats in, with the figures in, I want them to glue bare plastic to bare plastic, and then I'll just top it up around the edges. But the detail is really, really nice. You can also see where I've done the centre console, it's looking a hell of a lot better now. Going to the rear, the conference area, you can see a bit more of the detailing around the door and that. And then you've got these two consoles here. If I just turn them round, hopefully the light will pick it up a bit better. See a bit more detail in there. And again, with some more tape for bare plastic to bare plastic when I glue the seats down. But this is not looking too bad at all now. I mean, I've done the bottom as well, as you can see, and all the detailing of all the panels underneath is looking really, really nice. So now starts the paint of the interior. Stay with me.